Very good afternoon to one and all dear participants. And I feel pleasure to welcome Dr. Goswami with us as speaker for this session. Very good afternoon, sir. Dr. Pankaj Kumar Goswami has received the BTech, MTech and PhD degree in the area of electronics engineering with vast teaching experience, more than 15 years in the reputed organizations. He has more than 30 international publications in the reputed peer-reviewed journals, including IEEE Explore, Scopus, and SCI Index. His main area of research is the machine learning, Internet of Things, wideband antenna designs, cognitive radio, and power quality issues in nonlinear electronic devices. He has organized several national and international conferences, symposia, and webinars also. Dr. Goswami has also published the patents in the field of antenna design, Internet of Things, machine learning, based applications under the intellectual property rights of Government of India. He is an e-educator in the field of machine learning using Python. He is actively associated in NET SSR preparations at universities interface and visited several times SAARC countries like Nepal, Bhutan and Seven Sisters for various academic promotions activities. He is a professional member of several national and international bodies also. So it is a great pleasure to have you, sir, as speaker for this session in this 4 days FDP entitled on mobile robotics and Internet of Things. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Just reading about me is a definitely great pleasure for me that you have just invited for this one. And first of all, I would like to congratulate all the team members of this FDP that definitely have organized and utilized a very good time here during this pandemic situation. So not taking much of time, I would like to share my things. So I'll just carry on.
Yes.
So, well, my screen is visible to all?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Yeah, thank you very much for providing the such feedback. So, well, let's begin with this. Like, because it's definitely a very wonderful topic, you people are organizing the FDPO on that, which is basically consisting the IoT systems. Nowadays, everything is just needing to be connected with the IoT, and the movement is going on. It means the progression, processing is to be done in that area, and large number of the research, publication, patenting, and devising and the industrial setups are there to create these IoT systems. And among them, if I'm just talking, I've just picked up a simple topic. If we are talking about IoT is not only a single technology, which can be related with only the one or two kind of a techniques to be used here. IoT is simply a kind of a technology which has an amalgamation of number of things. Among them, so many technologies, so many aspects are there. If we see here, so among them, we are starting from the capturing of the data and acquiring the data, then we are processing of the data and so on. So number of the areas are there in which one has to work if looking for the complete designing of a system. If you see here in the first slide, what I'm just showing here, startup. So starting from the aircraft to smart city, home environment, automotive, and not only these are the limited 4 sections, but there's definitely unlimited areas and sections of that. So on behalf of that, my area, what I'm just going to deliver here, I'm just picking one section, which is the smart antennas. Because if suppose we are talking about the IoTs, and we cannot just tie up a long length wire everywhere. Suppose you wanted to control your home, you wanted to control your things related with, you are just going to connect with the internet, then definitely it's not practically possible to just put a wire with your bulb and carry these wires to your office. Then you are saying, I'm using the internet and connecting all these things. So important part is here, if you are looking to create an IoT system, one has to make it wireless. And once we are just talking about to make it wireless, it is important to talk about the antenna. So until and unless this is a very, very important part and very important unit to make it truly IoT and truly feasible, truly comfortable, a truly advanced technology, one has to go to study about the antennas. So here I'm just covering this section. And before covering this section, let's see what exactly the world speaks about the Internet of Things. If you go here, the Internet of Things is not a concept, it is a network. The true technology enabled network of all network. It means if we see here, so it is not only a definitely single technology, but it is a connection, networking of networks. It's a very, very important line, because at one place you are having a certain kind of a things, and those things are connected with each other. But now what you have to do, you have to connect your things, your network with the other networks, so that there should be some sort of the transmission between them regarding to the exchange of the information. So here, that's why I'm just talking that this is basically network of all network. And the secondly, we talk about the which the Jared Newen had said that, and just like any company that blissful at the internet, the turn of the century, the ones that dismiss the Internet of Things risk getting left behind. So now, so we cannot just ignore this one. This is basically a tech journalist and having an idea what exactly going in an industry, what is going in sense of all the economic conditions, that if suppose you're ignoring this one, then definitely you are on a great risk. Then Pradhan O'Brien, Chief Innovation Officer, co-founder of the Area System, because they are just developing so many national, international systems. Among them, they have an idea. They're speaking about that truly to the world. If you think that the internet has changed your life, think again. The Internet of Things is about to change it all over again. Similarly, moving from the Nicholas, and he has a statement when we talk about the Internet of Things, it's not just putting RFID tags on some dumb thing so we smart people know where that dumb thing is. It is about embedding intelligence so the things become smarter and do more than they were proposed to do. So that's actually very enticing and definitely very impressive thing, that it is like number of times we just find out that students in the projects, and we read about that, and we are just saying definitely putting just only a text and getting its location and finding out all details is Internet of Thing, and finding all these on mobile or tabs or some computers. We say that's it, but it is somewhat more than that. Let's move on further. If suppose we find out how many people are just taking interest in that, and what are the people is doing and how they are finding on. So Google Trends Analytics, if we are just looking for, and we see here, so how many people are really interested. If we talk about basically just taking only the 1 year data approximately starting from like September 2019 to next 1 August. So finding out that how many percentage of people is just finding this particular trend and try to get the knowledge related with this Internet of Things as somewhat. If you find out it is just lying in between average from 75 to 100% times of hits are there related with the Internet of Things. So keeping all this, it means this particular graph is indicating that throughout this particular period of time, since couple of years, I'm just talking about, since this particular year 2019 to 2020, there is a proper consistency of the people's putting their interest in the Internet of Things. That kind of analytics is provided by the Google. Google itself is saying that how many number of hits are there related with this particular topic, Internet thing, whether it is related to some devising, getting some paper publication, finding out more things for their student or academics development. Similarly, once they are just talking about the Internet of Things, a very, very parallel and very actual thing which is associated with always Internet of Things is the census. Parallelly, the census has a definitely very wonderful hits throughout the year. Finding out again, it is almost reaching towards the 100% hits are there. It means it is again maintaining its consistency since September 2019 to August 23, 2020. So this is the very latest updates and data available on the Google Trends, and that is just giving an idea that how much interest has been maintained to finding out all these things. It means if we talk about the Internet of Things, since last decades we are talking about that Internet of Things are just coming up. We are just going to just habitual with all these things. A number of things will be connected with them. So all these things are every time we're just reading up, but the interest, which is the part, tells you that whether this particular technology is really going with the future or not is given by that particular number of people just taking interest in that. So on the behalf of that, I can just say that if anybody is just thinking upon and finding it out that this is a way of future, exactly, this is the way of future. This is definitely going to be part of a future, and the person who is putting their interest is going very right and true with this. So here, if we find out these analytics giving a wonderful idea that future is with this Internet of Things and as well as with the census. taking a little idea what exactly the Internet of Things. So number of things are, it's unlimited, but if I'm just taking one example simply here, if you see up here, so closing and locking, it means this is simply giving an idea. This particular section is giving an idea related with the broad areas of security. So every sort of security is now becoming a part of Internet of Things, because it is a very tough task. Because now, if previously you were just talking about having a biometric sensor, having a number of locks, keyboard and password, all things were there, but that has been changed now, and that's coming up in your hand with the help of your mobile. Until unless you have this particular mobile or particular security codes with you, then you will not be able to access the system you have just designed for. So security is a part. So we are just taking care of all these securities, keeping up similarly, not only the security, but the simple kind of a mobile phone is giving on all of ideas, not only keeping this security, but it depends upon how many things are you just going to have with you, how many things you would like to get a facility with you that you are just going to operate with your system, that you're going to operate with your mobile phone or some sort of another devices. So exactly, if we see here, so these are the variations. All these variations are indicating that every day, each and everything is just going to be associated, is going to be entered within the domain of the IoTs. Previously, when we started with that, just connecting a few security system, controlling few certain sort of the devices. In industry application, we were working only with the controlling some sort of the devices where were the dangers and human orientations were not there. When there were no human orientation, at that time only the IoT Internet of Things were associated, and that were simply called as a SCADA, because SCADA was connected with a small network system, and that small network system were working with that. But meanwhile, as far as now the daily utilities are becoming the part of this one. And if we see here that all now reaching like that, if we see the world like in this way, if we have some sort of these packs that we can see out that how this world is connected with the Internet of Things. So we can see like that. If somewhat it is a movie and imagination like a structure, so we can see that now the things will be becoming like the same one. So all these yellow dots will be indicating that every time, everywhere, this sort of the connection is going to be established, and the things associated with each and every kind of a unit existing on this earth, existing on within this world, will be going to connect with this one. So this is almost related with the connection. So here, exactly the idea is here, this Internet of Things are capturing utility. Every day it has started with some sort of the controlling feature, not as it is becoming a part of facilities and even the part of luxuries too. So now it is capturing everyday utilities which are related with it. Moving ahead in this section, let's talk about a technical expansion. Fine. If we talk about the applications, we had a great idea that our daily life things are being connected with the Internet, and that has been predicted. Billions of the device, millions of the device will be connected within the next decade with Internet. So this is the basically aspects of the application. But what exactly is happening within the technical expansion? So this technical expansion is also taking its route expanded towards in this direction. It is not only creating the RFID, SOA, WSN, SCM, healthcare, smart society, cloud services, social compute, security, and many more. This is not a kind of a limited root branches which is taking and covering these areas. So the technology which were initiated by the simple one-to-one wireline connection, Bluetooth connections are now becoming a part and being put on RFID system. So now it is being put on an RFID system. So the RFID system is not only related with just having a tagging a card and having some sort of sensor, but this RFID card is not easily capable. This RFID detection is not easily capable to connect through a person who is distance apart, and number of the people are just having a client and server based system. Similarly, moving ahead in the healthcare system, taking an example of the smart societies, all these technologies which were present earlier and having a limited area of section, and they were isolated within them. It means a particular unit, a particular section were working in those areas. They were only restricted. They were only limited during that particular area. Now their network are being connected with the help of the technical expansion of all these. So here this particular a chart is just only an indication. This is just only an indication that this kind, so number of the technology which exists today are not only connected with the part of the application, but also connected with their root causes. It means from where it has been generated, now it is directly connected in the technical aspect to the Internet of Things, and the domain of this Internet of Things is expanding day by day. Now see here, what are basically the steps involved? There's a much interesting part. If we definitely divide the Internet of Things, so it can simply be divided into the 4 basic parts. If suppose we talk, the first part is the sensing. One has to sense. It means the device is there. The device has a first capability to sense, because until and unless it is capable to sense what is happening around, it won't be able to work for that process for which it is being dedicatedly designed. So sensing, sense the device, sense the atmosphere, was sense the task first, and sense the environment for which it is being made is the first task. So sensing through actuator and the devising is most important part, which is the stage 1 part. Once it is being sensed, then it is moving towards the next stage, which is the data acquisition system. And data acquisition system is the acquiring the data and conditioning the data as per the requirement. So that data, it may be used on the real-time basis, and sometimes that kind of a data may be acquired for the purpose of further future processing. Just taking a simple example, if suppose a person is entering inside a room, and during that person, other person is finding out all the equipment associated with the home. When I'm just talking about the smart home, when all the equipments are associated with that particular smart home, so that may be possible that person is just making that light on and off, or kind of a sensor is there who is just detecting the presence of a person who is entering inside the room, find out that person has entered in the room, and having a, because of this recognition, giving a signal on device whether it is to be on or off. So this kind of a data is a sensing, and then the sensing is processed to a particular device, and device is just asking authentication whether it is right or not. So this is a one kind of a action. And the second is that generally we have, in a case of the weather forecasting, having a particular weather at a particular place and finding out basically their statistics, finding out their pattern, on the behalf of that data is being acquired, and finally predicting of what would be the nature of the future thing. So this is the acquisition of the data. Data somewhat may be acquired immediately in process, and sometimes it is being stored. So if we talk about the stage 2, so this is the second stage, is the acquiring of the data. That particular stage requires so many hard devices, and so it can easily process, capture, condition, and keep the data as far as the requirement is there. Then moving on the next, which is basically the pre-processing and the edge analytics. In this case, the signal processing is required. It means the data is sensed, data is acquired, sensed, and then finally acquired, and now in what fashion, in which particular fashion we are looking for it, how do we are going to use this, and how we are going to implement it, that will be totally depend upon that signal processing section. So this signal processing section is very, very important part, and this is definitely a kind of a unique technology where the peoples are working. Large number of the smart processor, DSP processors are there, which are working on those areas and creating this one. And the most important part, which is the cloud analytics, the fourth stage which comes up. If suppose you are going to connect this with the network of things, Internet of Things and the network of things, not. If you're going to connect this one with the network of things, if suppose the number of the networks are already there and you're just going to connect your network with the internet and with the other networks, then definitely there is a requirement of the cloud. So our deep algorithms, machine learning algorithm, data analytics, and as well as the cloud computing, these are the very, very most important part. So if we see here, if suppose a person who is dealing some sort of the things related with a particular area and dealing from far apart point of distance from its own location, so that may use these 4 number of stages, and these 4 stages having their own different complex structures as well as their own attributes. So this is very much important to read about carefully each and every section, then one common system can be created. So while we have just gone through that, we have basically the 4 stages, and once we have these 4 stages, we are just going to discover and going to design a particular IoT system. And once we are just going to design a system, we have just to think before. We have to think about that, what are the risk factors? because Internet of Things, putting everything on internet is not so much safe. Everything you're just going to put on an internet, that may have a great kind of a risk, and that risk is to be a part of different attributes in the primitives. If we see here in this particular table, so we are finding here this sensor. If you go for this sensor, the sensor is basically a physical aspect and has a physical attributes, and it has basically all kind of three risks, whether we are talking about the reliability, whether we are going to security, whether we are talking about the aristocratic risk. All three risk factors are available there. So sensors, if I'm talking about the reliability, if suppose the whole IoT system is working or depending upon this one, then obviously we are going to work with the sensor, and the sensor is at a high risk. The whole system which is related with this IoT is definitely in a risk zone. Not only the sensor, the things which are going to aggregate the phenomena, those aggregators are having all these three risk analysis. So similarly, not only this one, the communication channel as well, as because we are going to create a communication channel, the stable communication channel is also required. Internet connectivity is also required, and everything is there. So because somewhat, if this thing is very much necessary and it is very much emergency like situation is there, and under this situation some sort of the network failures are there, then definitely this disconnection may lead a lot of risk, especially talking about the health section. In the health section, if we are just dealing with all these Internet of Things and we're just believing that our communication system and setup is working dedicatedly for this, so it might be possible during that particular period of time, if any sort of the failure comes because of this networking issue, may cause hazards. So this is an aspect. So talking about the communication channel as well as the e-utility. Finally, where we are just going to work upon, where we are just finally putting our whole system, whole technology, whole algorithm over there, that is part e-utility and as well as the decision trigger. So these two are also having a same kind of a risk. So in total, if I conclude, this whole table here, this table tells you and describes you that this IoT primitive, if I'm just talking about all these IoT primitive, which are very, very important and covering up all the four stages, that sensor, aggregator, communication channel, e-utility, and the decision trigger, all these four different aspects are having a very high risk factor. So designing and putting up is definitely just be taken care very carefully before you are going to design your IoT system. Because somewhat, if the risk factors are high, you cannot put everything on Internet of Things. So this is what a kind of a restriction, and this restriction is restricting and not finding everything is now connected with the internet. But every time the researchers and the people those are working in these areas, industrialists those are working in these areas, having a thought of this. So while we people are the academician, while we are working on that, so these are the very, very important aspect. So what you are going to design and for what you are going to design your IoT system, it is very, very important part. You just have to think upon all these kind of a risk analysis. So this is a very, very, generally in technology, we only go for its working procedure, its application part, what kind of its stability, validation, and reliability is there. We just only talk about that. But in the case of the IoT, we are also having a risk analysis, and this cannot be neglected. So, well, my target is here to moving up more about the layer structure, because we had an object to just go over the antenna designs and everything related with this one. So here I'm just talking this application, networking and perception. So we have just already gone for the 4 stages, and among those stages, if suppose I'm working on the protocol level and the layer architecture of the IoT system, so this is a very important part, that basically it is divided into 3 layer structures, which is transferring data set from one layer to another set and attributing this particularly for the application purpose. So if we see here, in the first we have applications. So generally we have a different kind of applications available within the softwares, within the application related with the mobile phones, tablet, and the computer system. Those applications having a different utility, having a different kind of a UI. This is a dedicated. So here we require a dedicated app. Suppose someone is looking for the smart home system, so it should have that kind of a things to be contained with it, that it is having a smart home system. So having all security systems are there, electric equipment control options should be there, all of these one. Then the second layer we are talking about, which is the networking hosting. So as we are having a IoT device, it may be a client, it may be a server. If suppose we are working on a client, so it may host basically network server on which it is working. So it may have its own access profile. It may have its attribute profile, what kind of attributes are there. It may have its own protocols and as well as the security manager. So logical link control and adaptation protocols. So among them, basically these are working on the basis of, as well as we have the hardware connection of the networking, whether we are working a wireless system. In all these, we have to work for the proper protocol system. Those protocols should provide a generic access, because a generic access is not there, then threat may be there. And if the threats will be there during that particular threat, it might be possible your system may be hacked by someone, and that hacking may cause definitely a dangerous, depending upon what application you are working upon. So here, this is a big task, and large number of the peoples are working specifically on these development of the protocol, how much secure they can, how much efficient they can. So developing all these protocols, and that protocol must be associated with the application in synchronous link. The third, which is the perception and the control. This is the most important layer. If I talk perception, because the network is there, network establishment will only be there once the perception will be there. So perception and control. If I'm talking about this, so this is the link layer and direct test model. And this perception layer is basically consisting all kind of the physical interface which are going to receive the data, which is going to be work with the particular signal or the command with respect to the IoT applications. So the IoT application which are working upon here, that is need to be a physical interface, because here we are talking about all the virtual ground. If suppose I'm talking about the dedicated app, I'm talking about the networking hosting, specifically about the protocol other than the network establishment. So these are the basically virtual platforms. On those virtual platforms, so here you're working, this is only the part where we are just having a very physical interface with the system, in which the actual signal transmission is to be taken up, which is sensing and actuating. Sensing and actuating both are working simultaneously here. So here we are just having a more concentration on this physical layer, because we have a target to work with the antenna system, and this is the layer which is basically consisting our smart antennas, because these antennas are going to provide a kind of a sense to a thing which is related with this IoT system, which is related with your devices connected with that, and which is related with the client and server. So more coming on this perception attributes, what are there maybe. So first of all, under the perception, what are the application category? Because the perception is not only depending upon you are just designing your own perception, one has to go for first what is the application category, and then what are the communication specification, what are your availability, what are your feasibility on which you can work upon. Because every time you are not having an access of each and everything, and every application is not dedicatedly allowed to work on every communication specification. The synchronization between this application category as well as the communication specification is very much important. Now coming up this generic evolution, similarly, just as we are working, like how the evolution has been taken place and talking about within the communication technology, within the wireless technology. This evolution is just making a difference in the devising of applications. Standards, what are the standards available, what are the coverages, it means where you're working upon, how far you're working, whether you're designing a thing related with a particular city, related with a particular building, related with a particular country, or somewhat putting you completely on a cloud, accessible all over. Operating frequency for the clients and compatible radiators. So if you see here, among all these, one has to go for number of attributes. If perception is there, perception, it means signal reception and signal transmission. Whatever the signal is there, that has to be received properly, that has to be transmitted, that has to be processed. And so this under this area, this perception has a large number of attributes. So all these attributes has to be taken care while we are designing this one. So first attribute, if I'm just having an idea here, IoT categorization with communication technology. With respect to, I'm just talking about the, so that standards, that kind of a technology are already available, that the people are working on that, industries are working on that. So this is a general smart home commercial building. So if you have a target, you're just going to plan within a building, within a system, where you wish to develop a kind of a system that can be easily operated through your devices, then you have to just think upon what kind of a technologies are available for you. You can work upon a Zigbee, you can work on a Z-Wave, Bluetooth, and Wi-Fi. So these are the options and opportunities available for you with respect to their frequency specifications. And under these specifications, one can easily design their system that should be working upon that. So here that is giving us idea, like if suppose somebody is looking to develop a particular IoT system, so we cannot just go for devising and things, finding out, connecting it, one has to take care how they are going to communicate. So their communication is much important, and they are going to talk like that on a particular frequency. This is very similar. The two Chinese can talk in Chinese, and the two English people are talking in English, and Japanese are talking in Japanese. So it is important if the Japanese want to talk with the Chinese people, so there should be intermediate language that should be known to both. So connection, so that is very much important, that transmission has to be taken care. While we are transmitting, we are communicating, we are making all these devices to talk with each other. So that is exactly the technology I'm talking about, the communication technology, which is related with the smart home and commercial building. Similarly, IIoT, very important. Nowadays, most of the governments, not only the government, nations are working on these areas, because the home and commercialization of the building is somewhat related with the facilities and the luxuries provided to the peoples, their common peoples. But industrial setups are very much important. So here this IoT is the industrial Internet of Things, in which now the whole industry setup is being connected with this network, and this connection of this network is making this production so high. So while we are talking this one, so there should be a dedicated talk, there should be a dedicated communication between them, and that is covered with the wireless HERT and as well as the ISA technology. So both are working on a 2.4 gigahertz. That's why I'm just taking all these here frequencies. I'm just keeping up here frequency. Why these frequencies are important? Because the frequency term is there, so their communication comes up, and when their communication come, then only that is important to design an antenna. So here, this is first we have to go for what application is there and what is basically the technology available, which is standard, which is given by the FCC or given by the IEEE. So those are just providing, and whether you are working in a particular nation or the national regulatory authorities of communication, what they are providing. All these depends upon this one. Similarly, the medical and as well as the avionics. So for example, I've just taken here, the medical has basically 2.360 gigahertz to 2.4, and basically working on another frequency, which is a 2.4 gigahertz, but this is a W band, we are working on that, and WAIC, we are working for the avionics sector. So here, domain has to be fixed first, and on the basis of that domain, there should be a kind of a technology which is available, whether it is a Zigbee, Z-Wave, Bluetooth, wireless HERT, ambient, or something else. That all has to be first fixed up. And while this is fixed up, then one has to go for that. What are the other solutions to work upon, and what are the facilities we are working in that area? Similarly, if, as we talked about in the previous slide, so we have a basically communication technology, and talking about the communication technologies here, so we have standards, and all these standards have a comparative chart study, like talking about a few of them, like Wi-Fi, WiMAX, LRWPN, mobile communication, Bluetooth, and as well as the LoRa. If we are talking about what are the standards they have just gotten, so who is basically the authority has given their standard, created their standards, and what are the basically frequency bands over which they are working. Most important again among these, like data rate. This is very important, because making an electric bulb on and off, making electric bulb on and off doesn't mean a data rate, but transmitting a signal, which is very much important, just keeping up, controlling your email box, or just maintaining some sort of the signals to the navigation system, is having a great sense of this data rate. So this data rate is also a part that your application and your communication technology must have a proper trade-off between them. If this trade-off is not there, then definitely your technology or your functionality will not be cherished, will not be having an advantage for what it is being designed. Similarly, transmission range, again, it's a part, it's important, it's a crucial part, because it's important the range you are deciding. So this is basically the Wi-Fi range is there, how much it is working. If it is working 2200, you have to go for WiMAX. You have to go for a WiMAX. If you are just moving up your distance, you are just going ahead, you're moving for the 50 kilometers, there should be a movement. You need to go for this WiMAX technology. Here you're just getting a facility that your frequency band is enlarged from 2 to 66 gigahertz and your data rate is also increased. Talking about the energy consumption in the same case is it high and medium. If talking about the Wi-Fi, it is a high. Talking about the WiMAX, it is a medium. Talking of the WPNLR case, it is a low, and so on. So again, one has to choose first priority. What is the priority? Whether distance is a priority, or whether data rate is a priority, whether frequency band is a priority. That's all depend. So that is totally depending upon that. On the basis of that, one has to finally decide that this is my technology, and on that technology my IoT system is going to work. Because among them, if suppose we are getting a facilities, we are getting a so many good features with that, along with them we are having another factor which is a very, very important, is a cost. So again, this is to be taken care. Suppose talking among them, so if anyone has a Bluetooth, so the Bluetooth is definitely very low cost, easily connected, but having a lot of sacrifices we have to go for. Right, first of all, we are having a very single band of frequency which is a 2.4 gigahertz, and distance is 8 to 10 meters. So, but if your task is somewhat related within a room, within a particular office, then why you're just going here to find out the Wi-Fi or the WiMAX technology to work upon? So that can be easily satisfied within the Bluetooth, but objective should be properly and clearly defined here. This is the basically technical specification evolution. With respect to the evolution of the basically generation in the wireless technology, we could be able to get the more number of things, and because of these number of things, now the facility has become. So all these things, if you see here from 1G to 4G, we are moving up and we are having an improvement in the data rates. So similarly, this can another be an attribute. So if somebody is making a low cost, because if suppose we are developing a technology and this technology is only for the purpose of study, then it's okay. You can put up anything. You're not talking and thinking about basically the cost. You're not talking about basically the complications, the licensing problem. No issues there, because we are talking academically and we are writing and we are simulating something. But if you are just going to design something which is going to be patented, if you're trying to patent it, if you have a certain aspect, you have a aspect, you just going to design a particular patent, and the device will be monetized later on for the commercial purpose. So this important aspect is there. What technology you are using, what is its cost, whether some more upgraded technology with the higher cost is required, or the satisfactory work will only be here with respect to this particular technology, so that it remains cost effective and will have a high compatibility once it will be launched in the market. So all these factors, if the economic and the commercial sectors are to be taken in consideration, then one again go for finding out all these, whether something is available easily for us and having some complications. So these technologies are just giving another facility. This may be another attribute that you can find out. But if the things are free for you, like right nowadays we are having almost 4G is available and free for us, we don't have any sort of the restriction, but we are working and moving towards, and even having some sort of the complication with respect to the 5G, which is being not yet here. So that may create complications for us. So depending upon your facility, that is may also be an attribute, and that all attributes are depending again on the bandwidth as well as the frequency option. So taking one by one example and a different attributes in the different aspect from the different angle, that all things are coming up with the communication. Because whatever is being developed, the first of all platform is very much necessary, and that platform is the communication platform. More on that, another attribute, it is also being defined by these standards, and the standards are saying that if you are working for the smart cities, you have to go for few technology. You are working for the smart homes. Similarly, smart grids, smart buildings, smart transport, and smart health, smart industry. A specific dedicated name and specific dedicated applications are there. And for those specific dedicated applications, because these are not the home technology, these are not technology developed within a home or developed within an institutional lab. These are the technologies now picked up by the industries, and they are picking up and they are getting an orders from the countries, they are getting an order from the nations, they are getting from the orders from the different kind of cities to make it a smart city, to make the smart home. So now you have a option. You just go and find out on internet and you wanted to make your smart home. So number of the vendors are there. They will come up to you to make your home smart. So once they are working it commercially, so they are restricted. They have a restricted band where they are working on this Wi-Fi. So they are having a certain sort of the license, they can work upon that and they can make with the Wi-Fi like that. So these are also the attributes that are important while we are designing this IoT system or planning for it. Another attribute, the distance, we have already talked about in the previous slides, that distance is also matter. So here it is very much clear that we are using the Wi-Fi, Bluetooth that are the restricted. If you are looking for the kilometers, you have to go for the LoRa or have to go for the Sigfox, and as well as cellular options are also available there. So these are basically giving you that your distance matters. So how far you're going to deal with, you have to take care of all these. You have to choose your technology. You have to connect your Internet of Things. You have to connect your data. You have to connect your devices and put on a particular cloud. So fine, who will connect these? Now, what are the things, like coming up on more specific things? We had already talked about smart home, smart industries. Is there only specification related with this smart home and smart industries? Even that, this particular section has a subsection and subdivision is also related with this one. If suppose some energy control units are there, if these units to be used within a system, within an IoT system, then they are having a fixed band of frequency. They have to work on 2.45 and 5.8 gigahertz. Security motion, surveillances, sensors and camera, they are fixed. They has to work on a 5.8. The reason is here because interference should not be there. Light, LED bulbs we are talking about, they are again 2.45 working on that. HVAC duct dampers working on 9 megahertz. Global positioning system, GPS, we know that is a very common that we were using previously. The same 1.565 gigahertz frequency is provided to GPS. Digital communication system, now this is being introduced. So we have somewhere the digital communication system that is having a same 1.71, and this digital communication system is now connected with the cloud system also. Personal communication system is 1.85 to 1.9. See here, every time, every specification, every technology, and every kind of a phenomena that is characterized by the frequency band. And that's why that is very much important. If it is characterized by, if you see universal mobile telecommunication system, international mobile telecommunication system, industrial, scientific, and medical wireless local area network, that all are long-term evolution, worldwide interoperability of microwave access, Bluetooth applications. If you see all here, that all are associated and featured by this frequency. So in all, so this is the basically, if you have a device, developed a device, everything is there, you need to put that device on a network, and that network required a bandwidth, that network required an operating frequency, and that, see, important, if we are talking about the worldwide interoperability for microwave access, that has a certain range. So if you have a device and you want to make it global, you wanted to use it like for the global purpose, so the person who is like everywhere in the world, then you have to go for this interoperability microwave access. So here you have to decide all these frequency ranges, and according to the devices will be there. So the conclusion till now is that whatever the application is associated with the Internet of Things, that is characterized by the frequency. And if it is characterized by the frequency, then definitely a main protagonist, which is the hero of this all, is the antenna. So the antennas are, various type of antennas are available, different kind of antennas are available. Among them, few categories are there that are known, that chip antennas are there. Sometimes it is a wire kind of antennas are there, whip antennas are there, PCBs are there, and as well as the proprietaries. Proprietaries antennas, dedicated antennas, specifically dedicatedly designed for a specific purpose or reasons. So all these antennas are associated with the present Internet of Things. They are used in different applications. They are used as per the required property. They are designed as far as their characterization as there. Their bulk size is there, how much massive they are, how much costly they are, what is the device cost is there, what is the operating frequency range, how far we are going to work. Among all them, all of these kind of antennas are working together, and sometimes the amalgamations of these kind of antennas are there, sometimes working on individual antennas, depending upon what are the number of the things you are going to associate it with your IoT. So here, well, as we started with the smart antenna, so I hope so here till now that has been very much clear that antenna is the important part. Until and unless we have a dedicated antenna, whatever we are designing, that design is only to put on a table. That design is not going to do anything for us. That design is not going to work or function. You have a device, you have a circuit, you have a board, you have an application, you have everything, but that application is on your table. That application cannot be connected until and unless you do not have a dedicated defined frequency application. So this defined application, this defined dedicated application required a specific antenna, and this antenna has its own attributes. If suppose somebody is looking to design an antenna for IoT system, so what are the things where the concentration need to be dropped up, that these are the things I have to just take care before going to design an antenna. The first of all, if I talk about this is a miniaturization. So those are working in the field of the designing of antennas, so they know what are the different kind of facilities are there, number of the design rules are there over which the same functionality, whatever the functionality of an antenna is available, that functionality of the antenna is continuously working with the miniaturized size, because we are creating a size compact. Nobody wants to keep laptop in hands to deal the home equipments. Nobody wants that my laptop is with me and I'm just dealing to put on and put off my AC and like that. So I don't want that. So during that that's important. So nobody want that. It's important to just take care of what basically we are using and how this can be miniaturized as much as possible. And while talking about the miniaturization, this antenna is an important part. Important again, operating frequency range, bandwidth one has to take care, the configurability, that's a new terminology and a very wonderful terminology used in so many devices that were not used previously, because reconfigurability is somewhat giving you a facility to reconfigure your device for multiple applications. That multiple application giving you a facility and making it more cost effective. Radiation pattern, gain and polarization. So let's see one by one all of them. So we have basically so many designs are already there. Somewhat we are using creating a different patch shape, because the antenna which is generally used is basically a patch antenna and a small size microwave antennas which can work upon a high range of the frequencies starting from several of megahertz to working upon several of gigahertz. So this is a very beautiful structure. This is a microstrip kind of an antenna. Generally they are being created on a patch side. So those are working on that area that may know about that. I'm not just picking up that basic introductory part here, coming up directly. So number of the technologies are here, creating a different kind of a slot, changing the shapes, changing these structures, and all these structures and all these shapes are basically giving an idea that how this antenna can be miniaturized. And this miniaturized antenna can easily give us that this can be a reduced side and can be betterly used for the different aspect, for the different purpose, or so many things. So fractals are there, slots are there, strippings are there, grounds are being diffracted, creating a different shape, corner truncations are there. So many aspects and many ideas are there, but all these ideas are totally depending what is the level of miniaturization, and the second is that on what frequency you are working, because every kind of a technology is not successfully working with each and every frequency. So here, this is important. Let's begin more. So talking up here in this section, ultra widebands. First of all, I'm just taking an example of here, ultra wideband. The first kind of an antenna which is being called as a smart antenna is ultra wideband antenna. This ultra wideband antenna, if you see here, one kind of antenna which are designed by us, we have just taken into the consideration here, that this kind of an antenna, if you show here, the below 2, if I'm talking about the VSWR value, the below 2, so till here, so it has a very, very vast range of frequency that can be operated. See, if such kind of an antenna is already there, so how many number of application can be incorporated? Because in the last slides we have talked about that frequencies are basically the main protagonist who is designing the application, and the frequency is directly associated with the antennas. So if an antenna is there, that antenna can amalgamate large number of the bands within it, and then definitely large number of application can easily be incorporated at any frequency range. So if this kind of an antenna is put here, is already kept here, in that situation, that application, IoT application becomes so much versatile that can be used for multiple applications. So here, this kind of an antenna, if you see here, this is a 1.55 to 13.33 gigahertz. It's a very, very wide band. So how many applications already being inserted? If I'm talking about the Bluetooth, WiMAX, talking about the basically Wi-Fi, talking about the ISM bands, and all kind of a bands are talking about basically avionics, or all bands amalgamated within this particular can be utilized very easily here. Second, what is the basically problem? If suppose your application is very dedicated and it does not require the multiple, but your application is somewhat like that, which changes its functionality. When your application changes its functionality, then the concept of reconfigurability comes up. Reconfigurability, it means the second kind of a smart antenna which are generally used within the IoT systems are reconfigurable antenna. Those antenna, this kind of antennas basically having a facility that they can shift or change their operating range of frequency. So if you see here, that is a developed antenna by us again. So this is 3.85, 4.14, 4.43, 4.91, and 6.0. So these are not the multiple bands. These are not only the multiple bands are simultaneously generated. These are the bands which are shifted with respect to some switching elements combinations. And that switching element combinations are itself connected within the device. So if the device is changing the signal, that element is switching on and creating one frequency. Then second comes up, when the signal comes, the different signal comes up, then switching will be different and making this one. So number of these switching signals from D1, D2, D3, number of diodes may be connected, number of capacitors may be connected, which are the SMD devices. So surface mount devices are there, which are very teeny in the micro and millimeter level scales, structures are there. So these very small structure, while changing their properties, they change the they change the frequency pattern of an antenna. See, what is the importance in IoT devices? If IoT devices are working for security systems, under these security systems, if these antennas are varying their frequency and on different frequencies, they are working and operating the applications, then it becomes very, very easy and very, very easy for the person who is securing his own system, and becomes very much tough for those who are trying to hack that system, because every time it is varying its frequency and changing because of the signal respect to. So this is a very smart antenna. Generally nowadays, these antennas not only used within the IoT system, but within the different kind of a technology, including the cognitive radio systems are used. So reconfigurability is very, very important phenomena. And not only the reconfigurability is taking place with respect to frequency, but the polarization terminology also there. So this reconfigurability can be taken to gain terminology also here. So this is a very second kind of an antenna that are used. Radiation pattern. Now we see each and every antenna which radiates having a certain radiation, and that radiation is working on. But for what purpose we are designing an IoT system, what kind of a radiation pattern may be taken as a standard? So the radiation pattern which is to be taken as standard is almost bidirectional pattern or somewhat like the dipole. So while we are designing this antenna, this should have a maximum coverage in the range of this one. So that radiation pattern has to be picked up while we are designing this antenna, because this has to capture, because once you are just putting up your device, the device has no surface orientation. And while this surface orientation is not there, so definitely the radiations may be in free space and everywhere. So those are working on this area. So this is again a very important part. While you're designing your antenna, you just take care about that. What is the radiation pattern? Try to make it by basically like dipole-like structure. So when it is like a donut kind of structure is there, so that will be highly helpful for you. So we have designed one antenna, and those are working with this one and having this covering all these radiation pattern in the different direction with the different frequencies and satisfying our IoT systems. Next is the polarization. While as I already discussed in the previous one, that each and every IoT device, those are working, whether it is RFID card is there, whether it is like a LED bulb is there or anything else. While we are working on that, then it is basically a surface tree, because we cannot just change the orientation. Suppose that we are standing behind, it should work upon. When we are standing in front of, it should work on, because antenna is somewhat restricted. If we see here, our D2H connections are there. We have a dish antennas, and this antenna are basically restricted when it is directing towards the satellite. When it is directing towards the satellite, one has to take care that its surface, its face orientation should be in that particular direction. While because of any reason it is being disturbed, one has to do it corrections in that particular position again. So here in this case, while we are talking about Internet of Things, so the communication between the device and the client or the server or the operating systems, those are working together, they must be orientation free. Their surface must be orientation free. So if you see here, this is called as basically 3 dB axle ratios that has to be basically maintained for a particular range. So if suppose your 3 dB axle ratio for a particular range of frequency is maintained below 3 dB, then you can say the ratio of the major and the minor axis related with the radiation pattern which is coming up is maintained, and polarization which comes up is the circular polarization. So the circular polarization is important while we are designing an antenna, and recommended. Basically, exactly, it is important and recommended, but it may be possible you are working for a dedicated application, those are working in a fixed direction, that might be, but generally it is preferred and it is recommended while you are designing an antenna, your smart antenna, then it becomes a smart antenna once it has a circular polarization. So circular polarization is very, very, very important again. Next is what? The stability of gain. Gain, whatever the gain of your antenna is there, that is an adequate part of requirement. And the second important part is there, your antenna design system should have a sustainability. During the whole progression of the work, during the whole progression of your frequency communication, this gain should remain stable. So creating another, so many techniques are there by which one can easily have a stable gain. So many literature reviews are available there, but this is the attribute. What I'm just keeping up here, I'm just taking all these attributes while you are just designing your antenna, that antenna must fulfill all these attributes. So the gain is also another attribute that is to be taken into the consideration while you are just designing your antenna for the purpose of your IoT systems. So here, if you see here, we have few like antennas where we have published papers. We have already filed a patent with the government of the India's that are available here. Now these two antennas are here, in which the one is the ultra wideband antenna, another is the reconfigurable antenna that I'm showing for you. So if you see, this is the reconfigurable antenna. Backside, if you can get here, this antenna is just indicating like this is basically a back side, and the front side is simply indicating that hey, this antenna is just having a certain structure, that structure is working upon. So here we have filed a patent on that, and that particular patent is published with the government of India. So this is a very well suited antenna specifically for the antenna related with the Internet of Things. So we have a lot of references. So by this, I'm just concluding myself here. So the session is open for the purpose of like anything you wanted to ask me.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir, for the nice session. Yeah,
Thank you.
sir, you can check the questions.
On me hotspot.
Just wait for 5 minutes. Just query session is there.
Okay, fine.
No, sir, I think your connectivity is lost.
I'm again here. It could be possible, like, yeah, I suppose that because of the connectivity. But definitely, I'm thankful for this internet that my presentation has been up, and I'm just back here. It didn't disturb me in between. Please.
No issues, no issues. Sir, you can answer the questions of participants. The questions are in the chat box.
Yeah, the music is here from your side. Yeah,
Yeah?
yeah. Now, yeah,
No,
there
sir.
was some
You
background
are
music.
audible.
Yeah.
Sir, the question is first, is antenna is a transducer or not?
I'm just opening this chat box and some music is there. Is maybe from your side or it's
No, sir, not from my side.
okay? I'm checking. Okay, fine. Yeah, yeah, that's okay. So in chat box, the questions are here. Please.
Like what type of
So yeah,
antennas are
fine.
used in the mobile?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Is antenna a transducer? Very good. So nice. Obviously, like so many like talks and confusions are there. The people talks about whether it is a transducer or not. Exactly, it is a transducer. If I talk about that, it is a transducer because if suppose we are talking about the electrical energy that has been converted into another form, which is to be taken as the electromagnetic, but some of them are generally having a contradiction on that. But in actual, it is. So electromagnetic waveforms are different and electrical signals are different. So it is a transducer. What type of antennas are used in the mobile tower? So basically, I've just taken an example. GSM kind of antennas are there, which works on 1.5 gigahertz frequencies are there. So any kind of a antenna, like you can now the microstrip patch antennas are there. Generally, you have in your mobile phones. Under your mobile phones, you have all those antennas. These are the microstrip antennas, and they are working for you as well as a mobile communication, working for your GPS positions. They are working for your like Bluetooth transmission. So they are the antennas which are working on a multiple bands like. So now that facilities we have. Next question is, what are the
What
types
is
of
the
antenna? What are the types of
server?
antennas used in GPS? So GPS is basically the same kind of antennas that generally used. So if you see, don't you have own mobile phone? Somebody if like who is asking question having own old mobile phone, just broken it up. एक बार इसको तोड़ के देखो, just broken it up, and you find out there's a small chip antenna will be there, and that antenna is working nicely for all kind of a functionalities. Previously, if I talk about before, previously we having a different antennas for the purpose of a GPS and one for purpose of mobile and talk, because we have a different kind of a frequency range, and the mobile was consisting 2 or 4 antennas. Okay, generally. Next, what is the difference between a server and a cloud? So nice. Server and a cloud, it's a very simple kind of a question. Cloud is a thing which is globalized, accessible globally, and server may be a person or maybe a like authorized one. So cloud is a thing like if you have a Gmail, so Gmail is a kind of a server which is available for all. So that becomes now a cloud. If you see here in the sky, you find out the cloud is visible for all, but the server may be your personal system or personal settings that may be limited with you one. So if you're designing anything and you're connecting 4 or 5 things with you, then you can say this is a server and that hype, but it is not a cloud. That cloud is only once it is accessible throughout globally, whom you are just giving or granting the permission, then it is a cloud. So your like Facebook and your Gmail accounts are there, that all are the cloud systems now. Next question. It is informed to all. This is not for me. So anything? Yeah, please.
Thank you so much, sir, for being here as a speaker, for accepting my request for speaker. Thank you so much, sir. The knowledge, whatever you have shared with us, that is really wonderful. Thank you.
That's my pleasure. Definitely that I could be able to incorporate something here because you people are doing so nice job. Exactly. You're working so hard in during this pandemic situation and giving a lot of knowledge to the people through this virtual platform. We are interacting, we are talking, and we are trying to know a lot of things here. So I'm highly thankful and congratulate the whole Purnima College that you people are just doing so nice. My best wishes with you all.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, dear all participants.
Thank you.
To all the participants, please join the session regularly. Tomorrow will be the last day of this 4 days FDP